As we've seen over the past few years, humanitarian intervention is now the catchphrase, which basically means going off and attacking countries that have no way of defending themselves. Somalia has been under attack for decades from various Western proxies. Even American forces have been there at times. They once convened 200 elders for peace talks, and they were attacked by American helicopters. They convened a conference today of 40 nations with the United Nations present, and they are concerned about the piracy, the poverty, the fact that it's a failed state, and they would like more military action to take place. They currently have Ethiopian troops inside Somalia, as well as Kenyan troops. They just took over Badoa, which is a stronghold of Al-Shabaab. It is a country under attack with cessationist encouragement of parts of Somalia to become independent, which the demonstrators in London were saying, do not divide Somalia, it is one nation. We see Hillary Clinton, and really wherever she appears there seems to be war unfolding. Yeah. Well, what are you demonstrating about?
We're demonstrating against a conference that's taking place in Lancaster House. David Cameron has announced in November in Lord Mayor's banquet that he has every year, halfway through his normal speech, he talked about intervening in Somalia, and he called Somalia a problem that needs to be dealt with, and that it directly threatens Britain's interest. And then he announced that a few weeks later that he called a conference where 40 countries were invited, and we'll be talking about this problem with Somalia and how to deal with it effectively.
Presumably you're saying Britain just stay away.
Yeah. Well, basically how I understand it, and how many people who started the campaigns and who've come to the demonstration today, is that when Britain talks about intervention, Britain has developed this unhealthy appetite for Western intervention, to go into countries and militarily intervene. And what that has always resulted is there's always been a self-gain, the self-interest, that country, for whatever reason, has some form of resources or some form of a need that would satisfy Britain.
Or it's just anti-Islamic, possibly.
That is partly part of it, in my opinion. The war on terror is, in my opinion, is a campaign which they change the tactics and the aims for each country that they want to intervene. For Somalia, it's to do with Al-Shabaab, it's to do with the piracy, and he said something that was very alarming, that he believes that young Somalis would be radicalized, and then radicalized meaning they'll be engaged in terrorism ideologies, and that they will bring that back into the UK. Well, if that's the case, in my opinion, is that Somalia has been in civil war for 20 years. Al-Shabaab has existed since 2006. Why have we not seen these young Somalis engaged in these extremism ideologies? And what that would do is that, like we've seen in the past with since 9/11, is that it alienates and marginalizes these communities. When you single out a community and you point the finger and say that you're a potential terrorist because your country is in this situation, a situation that they have created. The Al-Shabaab, in my opinion, is a reaction to an action that Britain has taken within Somalia. So what will this do? It will further criminalise young Somalis who are already criminalised because they're young, they're black, they're migrant they come from migrant communities. And this what this will do is that any young Somali that's walking around in the streets of the UK will be labelled as a terrorist, because David Cameron has said terrorism is been harboured and people are being trained in Somalia, which there's no evidence of.